Okay, so we're going to be practicing implicit derivatives, but second derivatives of implicit differentiation. Okay, so implicit differentiation is basically just chain rule. Okay, so when we're taking the derivative with respect to x here, when I take the derivative of x squared, I get 2x minus. When I take the derivative of y squared, I get 2y, but then I have to multiply it by the derivative of y, which is dy over dx. And then the derivative of 36 is 0. So then I solve it for my dy over dx. So I subtract 2x from both sides. So we get negative 2y dy over dx equals negative 2x. Divide both sides by 2y, negative 2y. So you get dy over dx equals x over y. Okay, so that's my first derivative. But now I've got to take the second derivative, which means I'm taking again the derivative of this d over dx. And basically, when you take the derivative of dy over dx, you get your second derivative, d squared y over dx squared. Because it's basically like d times d, that's the d squared here, and the dx times dx is dx squared. But now I'm taking the derivative of this side, which means I do quotient rule. Quotient rule is low, bottom one, y, times the derivative of high, which is 1, minus the top function times the derivative of the bottom, which is dy over dx, all over the bottom squared. So here is my derivative. The problem is that I have the second derivative in terms of the first derivative. So what I have to do is use my first derivative and substitute it in there. So you get y minus x times x over y squared. Now we're going to simplify this a bit. So we get y minus, when you multiply these, you get x squared over y squared. Now I'm going to simplify this by doing this. I'm going to multiply the top by y and the bottom by y. And what that's going to do is when I multiply it, I'm going to distribute it in here, like that. So you're going to get y squared minus x squared over y cubed. And this is your second derivative. And this strategy, we're going to use it for the second one as well. Okay? So basically what I did is instead of getting common denominators here and then taking this and dividing by reciprocal, multiplying by reciprocal, I just multiplied the top and the bottom by y to get rid of my denominator in the numerator. Okay? All right, the second one. Okay, same thing. I'm going to be taking the derivative. So I take the derivative of this with respect to x. So I have x times y, which means I have to do product rule. Derivative of the first times the second plus the first times the derivative of the second. So the derivative of y is dy over dx. So that's the first part. Minus the derivative of 1, which is 0, equals the derivative of 2x, which is 2, plus the derivative of y squared, which just like the last time is 2y dy over dx. Okay? So now what I need to do is I need to get my dy over dx to the left side and everything on the right side that doesn't have a dy over dx to the right side. So I'm going to subtract y on both sides, and I'm going to subtract 2y dy over dx minus 2y dy over dx. Okay, so I end up with x dy over dx minus 2y dy over dx equals 2 minus y. I factor out my dy over dx, which means I'm left with x minus 2y equals 2 minus y. Divide by this on both sides and get dy over dx equals 2 minus y over x minus 2y. So there's my first derivative. Okay. Now, I have to take my second derivative. Okay, so I'm going to take the derivative of all of this again with respect to x, which means I get d2y over dx squared. And again, I'm going to be doing quotient rule here. And I get my low function. So x minus 2y times the derivative of high, which would be negative dy over dx. So I'll multiply. Minus 2 minus y times the derivative of the bottom, which is 1 minus 2 dy over dx. All of this over the low squared. Okay. Now, again, we can't have it in terms of dy over dx, so I've got to substitute this in for this one and for that one. Okay, so here we go. Now I'm going to move this negative here out front, so I get negative x minus 2y, and dy over dx is 2 minus y over x minus 2y, minus 2 minus y times 1 minus 2, and this is 2 minus y over x minus 2y all over x minus 2y squared. Yeah, this is getting ugly quick. Okay, so let's do some simplifying. Well, the first thing I can do is this divided by this is 1. So I can deal with that. So rewrite this as negative 2 minus y. Then I'm going to distribute this in. So I get negative 2 minus y plus 2 and 2 minus y squared over x minus 2y on the bottom. Because this will go to the top with this one, make it squared, and I move this 2 up, and this negative times this negative gives me a positive here. Okay? And notice I haven't done anything with the bottom. I'm not going to FOIL that out unless I have to. Okay? Well, now I have this negative 2 minus y minus another 2 minus y. So I can put those together and get negative 2 minus y plus 2 times 2 minus y squared over x minus 2y all over x minus 2y squared. Now basically I'm where I was in the first one. I've got this division here, so I'm going to do the same thing I did before. I'm going to multiply the top and the bottom by x minus 2y. Okay? So I got to distribute to this one and to that one. Okay? Now, when I do that, I'm going to get negative 2 minus y times x minus 2y plus 2 times 2 minus y squared all over x minus 2y cubed. Okay? So when I did this, it got rid of this denominator, and then because they're the same, and then it added it to this one. And then we're going to FOIL everything out. Okay, so we're going to distribute the first two terms, and when we do that, we get negative 4x plus 8y plus 2yx minus 4y squared plus, and when we FOIL this part out right here, we get 8 minus 8y plus 2y squared all over x minus 2y cubed. And then you got positive 8y, negative 8y. Then you've got positive 2y squared. We'll get rid of two of those, the negative 2y squared. And leaves us with negative 4x plus 2yx minus 2y squared plus 8 all over x minus 2y cubed. And that is our second derivative. And I know you could factor out a 2, and there's probably something else that we could do, but I'm going to leave it just like that for right now. That's how I need it. Simplified, nice, neat. If I was going to be taking the third derivative, that's what I need. So again, this right here, all of this work that we did, all of this is algebra. My only calculus is actually taking the derivative. After that, all algebra steps. All of this. So this step, algebra, algebra, algebra. All of this is algebra, all the way down to here. The only calculus was actually taking the derivative. So just be careful when you're doing this. You're going to make your mistake in your algebra, so be very, very careful. Even sometimes I make mistakes in my algebra. So you got to double check yourself and make sure everything looks good.